Hello, everybody.
We are here.
Hello.
We are here.
We made it.
Finally, after all these weeks of planning, we finally made it here on the interwebs. Welcome, everybody. So nice of you to be here.
Yes, thank you for showing up and joining us in our first endeavor of this whole thing, which has been a fun journey, right, guys?
It's been very fun.
It certainly has.
Can
Lots
I
of
just
planning.
can I start with the elephant in the room, which is the avatars?
If you may.
Because
Yeah.
I think Neil looks like Neil, a very sort of quirky version. Lisa looks like Lisa, and I look like maybe someone who I used to know at some stage, who may not be quite as free out in the world as he was before. So,
But Neil, we appreciate you did all
Yeah,
the hard work. It looks good.
yeah.
Looks great.
I mean, you can only
It took
do
a little bit of tweaking, I have to say. Yeah, Mid-Journey is really weird. It was fun actually trying to make it look somewhat like us, because some of the original ones that came out, I didn't share those with you. It would be too heartbreaking for you. So let's just leave it at that.
And you can only work with what you can work with, and I do appreciate that.
Well, exactly. Yeah, I mean,
So you see by the banter, this is why we're all working together, because we just have fun, and
Indeed.
We're here to have fun and to share what the community does and have a good time.
Exactly. And just sort of a brief kind of backstory. We've been probably working on this for 6 weeks. Sort of after Creator Camp, we had 2 or 3 weeks where we were busy doing some stuff. And then we've sort of been working 6 weeks to this point to be here live and in person.
It's great. I mean, we've probably worked about, I don't know, 230 hours on this in total, something like that. So obviously the production value is going to shine through with all the work that we've done. In all seriousness, it's been great to work with 2 wonderful people to get this off the ground, and it's a lot of work. As we'll say again.
Yeah,
we'll bring those on at some stage.
Yes, all those great people that we work with. But in the meantime, you'll have to suffer with us. But it has been a journey, and it is interesting to create something from scratch, and all coming out of the wonderful time that we had at Creator Camp. And of course, we have our special guest coming on very soon. So shall we just go run through with the show and let people know what's coming up in this amazing
what's happening?
2.5-hour segment?
Exactly. We were just talking about the 5-hour streams, but we'll let Diana maybe mention that in passing as we get to her. So, Lisa, why don't you take us through the run of show and all the most amazing prizes and gifts that at some stage we may have, but not today.
Yeah, we don't have them today, but they're coming. So basically, the show, again, is to celebrate people from Creator Camp and all people who use Ecamm, because there's so many talented people all over the world, which these 2 lovely young men, I keep calling them lovely young men. He looks away. One is in Portugal and the other is in England, and I'm in Los Angeles. So it's been a lot of, the logistics. We made this work. So I'm excited that we're here and we're doing it. And we'll be doing it bi-weekly because of scheduling. And, if it becomes even more fun, we'll do it once a week. We'll see. But during the show, we'll be featuring other Ecamm users. We have people that will come on, obviously, for interviews, and we have our camp leader, Miss Diana Gladney, today, which I am excited that she took the time to come join us. And we have quizzes, we have fun, we have, what is it? Merch on the perch, not perch on the merch.
Yeah.
So,
merch on the perch.
I should let Mark explain that.
Well,
you'll see later on.
Yeah, exactly. We were doing Elf on the Shelf.
Elf on the Shelf.
Yes. And so it sort of came from that. But yeah, we'll do it. There's a few pictures, things how you can get involved. And also, if you have any comments or anything you'd like to do stick them in the chat, and we'll bring them up and get you involved, because it's not just about us. We keep telling Neil this. It's about the community at large, and wanting to showcase everybody that's going on. So that's kind of how it's going to run. But we're going to chat to Diana first of all, and get her involved so she can explain how wonderful she was at camp, because she's sort of the reason it kept us on the straight and narrow. We knew where we were going, was able to really sort of support us in what we were doing to get the most out of it in the original Creator Camp. So should we go for it?
Let's do it.
Let's bring Diana on.
Bring her on, Miss Diana.
Yes, hello. Hi. Here she is. Hello, Diana. Thank you so much.
Howdy, everyone. I'm pumped to be here.
This is
Good.
amazing. Amazing.
I'm just going to run off your accolades. You're an author, you're a content video strategist, you're a speaker, and you're just a lovely person. We all enjoy you. So thank you for being here. I know you've been on a 6-year journey or more than that now, right?
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
being a
Over more.
content creator. And thank you for all that you do.
Fantastic.
My
Well,
pleasure. Glad to be
we're-
of service and glad to be here.
amazing. We're going to get into some proper questions in a second, but first of all, we have a little video which I think is going to sort of set the scene very nicely for everything you do and the people that are part of your world.
What can I say about Diana Gladney?
Diana Gladney has helped me in more ways than one.
There's so much I could say about Diana.
Shout out to Diana Gladney.
I'm super excited to be your educator. My name is Diana Gladney. I help entrepreneurs simplify the video creation process so that they can reach wider and connect deeper with the people that need them the most. More relevant content is usually the answer to any issues creators today are facing. It will forever be based in giving your core audience more of what speaks to their interests, their problems, and their pain points. But are you really doing the work? If we're being very real with ourselves, we have to learn to avoid our own excuses. Sometimes the biggest roadblock is you. So I'm going to teach you how to go from this to this, problem to solution.
Diana has this amazing ability to simplify some of the more complex or confusing things when it comes to video.
Diana is one of the best teachers in the game. I've learned a lot from her.
Taught me a lot from afar and up close. Super grateful for her. You need to check her out.
She has a unique knack in always being able to break it down to a very simple level.
She gave me the confidence to believe in myself.
And that's something that Diana has reframed in my mind for sure.
Diana Gladney. I trust her, you can trust her.
Keep your hand on the pulse of your people. And with each new heartbeat, they'll tell you exactly where they're going and how they prefer to be communicated to. You must dominate in your niche. You must become your ideal viewers and audiences' go-to resource. But when it comes to pursuing something that's really going to help change somebody's life, sincerely, your excuses are invalid. And I'm gonna stop making excuses and blaming YouTube instead of saying thank you for sending that person to me. Now I'm gonna serve the hell out of them. Thank you.
Lovely.
Fantastic.
That video says everything about you and the work that you do. It's great to see so many familiar faces on there as well, and you've helped so many people over the years.
Yeah. It's I'm watching it back from a different lens now versus like, when we first put that together. And it's like, I forgot about that. It's like so yeah, it's very honoring and rewarding to know that no matter, like, everybody thinks that at some point your journey is not that big of a deal, or you're always really thinking about like what your next step is. And it's always about helping that next person. And so to see that in real life, living, breathing people, you can call them by name, go visit their YouTube channel and see them doing well. I love to see that.
I think,
So go ahead, sorry, Mark.
So I was just going to say, I think all of that kind of expertise and knowledge and experience, which you just acquire, don't you? And it sort of becomes part and parcel of everything that you do, which makes it makes you so at ease and such a great leader, as we said, from sort of creator camp points of view. Did you kind of feel like you always had that to begin with, or did you literally kind of grow into that kind of role as you've got more experience?
Oh, that one's a doozy. Great first question.
Not past what's your name.
Yeah, it's like, tell us a little bit. Well, when I was 3, I scraped my knee. No. So yeah, so interesting that you asked that. Honestly, I had a vision of, at some point, you have a vision in your mind of who you want to be or what have you, and that the closer you keep getting to that version of you, that vision continues to grow and things like that. Well, honestly, I wasn't sure what I was going to do or anything like that. I didn't go to school for video or no stuff like that. Honestly, it wasn't until I got sick and wind up finding out later that I had stage 4 endometriosis. And when I had to have emergency surgery, I'm 20 something and I'm thinking, wake up kind of like when you have a headache, take medicine, it'll go away, you'll feel better. Well, waking up from that surgery, and it was like, no, we actually had a ton of complications, all these issues. And by the way, you almost died. And so almost dying and could have dying are two different worlds apart. And so the more that settled in, the more that I started to sit there in the hospital. And I'm like, it wasn't until I had to tell my older sister what was really going on, because the family didn't know. They were just like, you just don't feel good, or you say your stomach hurts, you got cramps or whatever. It doesn't make sense. And so it wasn't until I had to explain that situation that it kind of became a reality for me. And I had to ask myself, like, okay, so you're going to go back to the bank, which is where I was working at the time. Go back to the bank and do what? Make more jokes or something? Have another peach cobbler ready for the next team meeting? Or, like, what could be said about my life at that point, which was nothing. So if I had actually passed on the table, had they continued to run into complications and stuff like that, or maybe decide to put the surgery off like I wanted to initially, I had days, so that without knowing, I had days. And so, it's like, what could be said? So then I had to figure out what I wanted that vision to be. And I would say it was in pursuit at that point, moving forward, in pursuit of getting to that person that you kind of don't acquire the information. You're on the hunt for it. You're searching for it. You're desiring it. I'm feverishly hungry, looking for an answer to some question I got at 2:30 a.m., or what have you. And so that's how I kind of got into stuff, was just like, what's my purpose? Why am I here? And what am I going to do? And trying to figure out the answer to that. And so just constantly in this aggressive, insatiable hunger of trying to pursue and figure that answer out. And so it just kind of led to video, which was definitely not my thing. Somebody say, let's take a picture. I'm like, I'll take the picture because I don't feel like getting in there or that went into video or nothing. So it just kind of wound up uncovering what my purpose was, and it wound up being involved with video.
Incredible.
Such a good story.
You mentioned about, so you obviously didn't want to be in front of the camera at the time. You were more than happy just to work with the camera. How did you get over the confidence of being on camera? Because it's a problem that faces a lot of people. They may have an idea that they want to be more creative, and to be creative these days, you should really, be on YouTube, or at least have some outlet for your creativity. And a lot of people, especially I get asked the question, how do you gain that confidence on camera? How do you be more comfortable with yourself and just being able to just go for it and just be there and just hit that record button and so on?
So I'm very realistic in my approach for stuff. I think sometimes when we do these interviews, speakers, coaches, trainers, whatever, you do these interviews and you get so used to, or even just listening, you get used to hearing like the atypical answer. I just believed in myself. I took notes and I just knew. No, it's like, because again, you have to think this is now after realizing in my mid 20s, I was going to die. And so then I'm like, okay, well, Lord, save me from that. So what's the point? Okay, I'm here for a reason. What's the point? And so when you start to pursue and try to figure out that answer, because nothing else is more important at that point, it's like, okay, like I said, how I grew up was a little rough, a little rough around the edges. And so you're dealing with all kind of characters in school. And I think, but this is universal for most people. You got bullies, you got the jokester, you got the teacher that won't do anything, you got the teacher that's super hard on you, all those different characters there. And so I think about it in the aspect of a bully, which I've had, had to deal with those. And so you have to confront the bully if you want them to go away. Now I'm gonna leave it up to your imagination on how you deal with bullies. But, I grew up in the early 90s, all that stuff. So it was a bit more Malcolm X versus Martin Luther King, I'll put it that way. So the fact that you are going to deal with the bully, that's all it is. It's like, this is a right now bully that's in front of you. And it's like, now who's bigger? Who's going to be bigger? My dreams and my goals, or a camera that can't hit back? You know what I'm saying? I think the bigger issue is people trying to confront fears beyond the camera. Camera ain't gonna do nothing to you. Lens ain't gonna do nothing to you. You bought it. So you bought the bully, if that's the case. But why? You think about the why. It was because you wanted to do something. You had pursued something. You had a goal. You had a dream. You had a vision. You had a thought at least around it. So which is more important? The potentiality of a maybe of what you saw somebody else go through that is likely to happen but hasn't happened yet, of somebody saying something which you've dealt with in real life. Nobody can come through the keyboard and do anything to you. Nobody can come through the video or the screen and do anything to you. So it's not going to hurt you. And it's just that simple. Just making it very plain Jane and very black and white of, would this hurt me or not? No. Which is more important, my dream or my vision, my goal, or what I'm in pursuit of, or the possibility that at some point maybe somebody will say that they don't like you. Big whoop-de-doo. It's no big deal. Like, seriously, we've done harder things in life. And so that's the biggest thing that I think about. And this is with any goal, because, obviously we still have fears, we have frustrations, we have concerns, we have anxieties. But I think if you think about it realistically, what is it? What is the fear? What is it based in? I'd like to call it discrediting the devil. Okay, so potentially somebody may say something. What can you do? Delete it, block the words, or whatever the case. That's it. There's nothing else to it. So, I just logically try to process the fear. And it's like, it was no big deal to get in front of the camera. Was I nervous? Hell yes. I'd be sweaty like I just ran a mile or, a loop around the track or something. Got the Whitney Houston lip sweat and all of that. So let's not get it twisted. I still was nervous. You still are, trying to figure it out, but it's figure outable, as Marie Forleo would say. And so it's like, you get better at video. I just keep showing up and figuring it out. Like, people legit have children, a whole human being. They get married to somebody for the rest of your life that you know of. You know what I'm saying? Like, you make way bigger commitments, way bigger decisions than video. And this is for something that you actually want. So I don't look at the small potentialities. You can come up with a way to deal with that. It's very easy. It's just not, I don't make this situation bigger. I just punch that bully in the jaw and move on.
Wow.
Bravo.
Well, I have to bring up your book because you talk about mindset. You talk about, and I've got it right here. Go buy this, guys. It's just a good read. And I have a question to ask you about your auntie.
Okay.
Okay. That I want to know because I love Auntie Shirley. It's like,
okay.
But what I love about the book is before you get into the meat and potatoes of how to make a video, to make the one right video, you talk about mindset. You talk about, getting your head right, getting it straight, and getting rid of the limiting beliefs and all that. And I, for one, believe until you can get that out of the way, because that's your block, you can't do anything else. It doesn't matter what camera, it doesn't matter anything else. So can you talk a little bit about that? But probably actually before that, how did you decide it was time to write this book? And I'm so glad you did.
I didn't.
You just did it.
Kicking and screaming, scraping across the floor. It literally was not something I wanted to do. I'm 100% honest about that. It was just like video. I was not interested in being, but my thing is, so I'm a Christian, and not that everybody has to be or what have you, but I'm a Christian. And so I pray, and I'm trying to figure out my path, and I'm trying to, meditate. And, it's like when nobody else is speaking, when no one else is around, you don't have your phone and you close your eyes. What do you feel, hear, see, all of that thing? It's like trying to figure out your path. And so the first thing was do video. Made no sense. But I know for me, I know that this is not coming from me. Initially, when it's especially something I don't want to do. Video was one of those things. I'm like, I didn't hear that. Let me turn my headphones on and watch some anime and watch some Naruto or something, because clearly it's not for me. So video was like that. And then the book was like that. I'm praying. I'm like, what should I be doing next? And it's like, you need to write a book. And I'm like, definitely didn't hear that. Let's go back to Naruto, because I like Naruto, so that's what it was, honestly. And it just would not go away. And so my thing was like, I'm like, well, what do I have to say? What value do I really have to add? Obviously, I'm an avid reader. It's something that I would imagine myself to do at some point in my life. But I think sometimes when you achieve the bigger goals and milestones in your mind, you realize how close you really are to doing it if you follow through with it. And maybe the picture don't look exactly the way you imagined it. And then you realize you have to dream bigger. And so it was just kind of one of those things. And like I said, I went kicking and screaming. It took me a year to write it. And then when I actually sat down and write it, I got through the whole process mostly in 6 years. So the first 6 months, I would definitely say was a mindset barrier block, dealing with all of that. And the next 6 months was actually doing the work. So I didn't write it like initially doing it, but then once I kind of just submitted myself that this is something that I need to do, then getting into the mindset, I'm like, okay, well, obviously, because you deal with mindset issues with anything, or you have to at least address them, even if they aren't a hindrance. And so I'm like, let's dial it back. Because if it was me, just me talking to you and you ask questions, I'm going to give you the most analytical black and white explanation of the technicalities. And so if I hadn't approached it from who I want this book to serve, then I would have wrote an encyclopedia about video, and nobody wants to read that. And so that's how I got into like the mindset stuff first of, after I got into the process of deciding to write the book.
So with the mindset stuff, I'm going to jump to your Auntie Shirley, who was your cheerleader. And I was thinking, we all need that person, but she also was that person that pushed you into your discomfort level in order for you to see who you really are. She saw your talents. She saw what you could do. You hadn't seen it yet. And we all have gone through that and still go through that. So talk a little about Auntie for me.
Yeah. So at that part in the book, I'm describing where I moved from living in Alabama to moving to Ohio. And so my aunt knew that I liked to read books. At the time, I would definitely say I was not a positive person per se in my belief systems. Number one, I hadn't really explored my belief systems to know what they were or whatever the case is, but I would definitely say categorizing it now is more negative. But she knew I liked to read, and she knew that I loved music because I had went to school on a band scholarship, and I played instruments. I had taught myself to write music and all these different things. But if it came to anything that, in my mind, I had proof that I was not good at, and so it was no point further proving the point that I'm not good at it. I'm like, some people are just not good at things, and I just left it up to that. When I got there, she would take me on these mandatory drives, and I hated it. And so every weekend, it's like, we got to do something. We got to go somewhere. And so she would find the longest drives. I don't even know where we were going or where we were at or any of that. We just find the longest drives for us to have long, deep talks. And I would get frustrated and annoyed, but I also journal. And so I'm angry in those journals talking about things. And so she busts through the door and she's like, hey, I got a book for you. I didn't say I want to read that. I'm reading something for leisure. I love historical fiction, for example. And she was like, oh no, this will help you with whatever. I'm like, what's to fix? It's like, it's like, I don't, like, for example, something simple. I wasn't good at math. Historically, had never been good at math. And she was like, no, you can learn. She's like, the same side of the brain, which touching on my analytical side of my thinking, and very logic based. So she came at me from the things I was interested in and the way that I learned. I had never approached it. It sounds simple now, but hadn't considered that. I'm like 20, maybe. And so she was like, no, read this book. It'll help you. And so it was a book on math. And she was like, oh, by the way, you're signed up for tutoring every day. Sign up. Make sure you take care of it. I don't expect you to come home until X. And I'm like, I don't want to do these things. And she's like, oh, I didn't ask you. So she gave me no options to fix areas of my life. She just started working on them. Mandatory drive every weekend, get up, get dressed. We're going out. I don't want to go. I didn't ask. Like, you might as well just stop saying that. That's a moot point. And so she started making me go and push myself. So at the point where I'm talking about the 98% that I got on the test, and we start thinking about how that impacts you as a video content creator, just a creator, an entrepreneur in general, human being, hell. We think like, do your best, do your best. Sometimes your best is not enough. You have to do what's required. And she taught me that when 100% is available and you're going to be graded, assessed on it, or whatever, do the 100%. And so I had worked my butt off from, like I said, how I was when I first got there to so many months down the road now of like, I went to tutor and I'm like, oh, I can learn this. There is a way that I can be better at this. So I went from sitting in the back of the class to the front of the class to not knowing the answers or beginning to understand to actually tutoring other people in math and, acing the class, which was not something I believed was even possible of me. So she was progressively working on me. So to get 98%, okay, in a class or something that I was struggling with, and she looked at the paper just nonchalant, like, what happened to the other 2%? Like, you need to go back to tutoring. Like, oh, she did not just. I was beside myself. Like, she's clearly not talking to me at 2%. I'm like, the 98 though. This is over 80%. This is over 90. Like, we up there. Like, I'm thinking a high five. Let's, have a pie or a party or something. She like, we need to go back to work. Like, it's like she's all done. I'm like, I couldn't believe it. But me being youngest of 6, growing up into, I'd say a pretty competitive house, like when it comes to games and stuff like that. Yeah, all right, I got something for you. And that was all it was. I'm like, okay. I was pissed off. I'm like, I can't believe she just said, let me get out this room before I get in trouble. So I went upstairs, went to my room, and working. So now all these weeks later or what have you, because I'm like, I just knew in my mind, all I kept saying is like, every time I'm saying, I'm like, what happened to the other 2%? And I'm like, I had a 98. That's all I'm thinking, like them 2 ridiculous percents. I'm like, what? Okay. That's all I'm thinking the whole time. I'm like, I'm gonna show you. Come back at the next grading season. And, I printed it off. We got digital stuff. I can show it on my phone. Nah, we not doing this. I had a point to prove. But me trying to prove a point to her and getting to the point to where I not only, get the 100% in the class, but also making the dean's list. And so, was it dean's list, president's list? I can't remember exactly the name for it. I feel like it was the dean's list. And so, whichever one was higher, I forget now. But I shared that to her because I had did that. And I'm like, I'm not just thinking about the one class now, because she made me sign up for more classes than what was necessary. I had 4 initially. She was like, you can take like 3 or 4 more. I'm like, you are insane. You're insane. It's like, that's all I'm thinking. Like, you are insane. And so I now doubled up my schedule. And so I'm like hella busy all the time. And so, so I'm like, you know what? I'm just finna be brilliant. And I'm going to do the best that there is to do. I'm going to hit the bee's knees Hall of Fame that there ever was. So to do all of that and then have her just like, I know you could do it, and show her the paper. Now that I've, achieved this point, it just proved to me many things over my time there living in Ohio, but is that when 100% is available, do not your best, because oftentimes our best is not enough. You have to learn to do and stretch yourself, do what is required. And so when you sit back and you stop thinking about my best, because best a lot of time is still within a comfort zone, but it ain't enough to get over the hump or the where you need to be to hit, hit the mark. And so that taught me everything. So it's like the good enough, stop existing. Then I'm like, you show right. When 100% is available, why not? Why not? What do you have to lose? And you have everything to gain. And you become a way better person. And so I just started taking that mindset into everything. So my auntie completely changed my life. But again, kicking and screaming, very upset most days, frustrated, but she completely changed my life.
Such an incredible story. And I think it really just shows as well that sense of when you want to do something, you can. And all the things we often talk about through Ecamm, in terms you need to know the tech, you need to practice, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to take yourself out of your comfort zone. It all comes back to you. So whether you're doing it for a hobby, whether you're doing it as part of your job, whether you're doing it because you kind of feel like there's an inner need to share something or to show more about you, it all comes from all those things that you've talked about. And I just love the fact that those two things that you've sort of spoke about today sort of go hand in hand, from that sort of personal drive, that personal knowledge, that sort of introspection, as well as that kind of, but I'm just going to do it again. I'm going to work harder. I'm going to take more classes, and I'm going to do it. And I guess that's the thing, that sometimes you need leading, sometimes you need pushing, but either way, we need both sides of that in order to make it work for our better good.
Yeah. 100%.
So Mark did touch on Ecamm, and we can't not have this discussion with you without mentioning Ecamm and the journey. So in terms of when you started using Ecamm, can you sort of let us know when you started using the program? When did you get involved with it? Was it primarily, just as many people use it for, as just a recording tool to start with, to get familiar with the workflows, or did you use it primarily to start going live with some of your shows?
So at the time I was live streaming, and this is back, oh goodness, I would say I really got into content creation seriously in 2017. But it's like November 2016 or what have you, start looking at the landscape of cameras. That's different. Video, YouTube, goodness gracious, is not the YouTube of then, is nothing near of what YouTube is now, or quality content, all of that stuff. And so you still had a lot of the old guard versus the new guard mentality and stuff on the platform. But you had PC specific versions of live streaming programs that were available that either had reliability issues, cost a ridiculous amount of money, or you had the Mac-based stuff, which was, in my opinion, a lot better, but I wasn't a Mac person at all. And so I'm looking at this program, and I'm also looking at, between editing programs, because I'm getting more into that stuff, but I was live streaming at the time. And so I was using a browser-based solution, but it's like you can only do 720p or like lower, and it looks weird. And if the internet goes out, then so goes your stuff. And I'm like, and I'm looking at Ecamm, and at the time, you're not gonna believe this, Ecamm was $39 one-time payment, and forever you own it.
Wow.
And I'm looking at like these software companies that are like $500 or $600 for Babbage. And so I'm like, well, I guess it's time we start looking at those Macintosh computers, and we're going to mosey on over there. And then the price went up. It went up. And this was like the first time in years. And so I'm like, and I watch patterns, behaviors of your industry, your niche, or whatever. So I'm paying attention. Everybody is switching from pay for our software and tool one-time models to pay once a year for updates or upgrades if you want them, or per package sets was a thing. Or you had companies now understanding, like, for introducing cash flow, you need to be at the place of doing subscription models. And so everybody was going from flat rate things to subscription models. I'm like, I am not finna get caught in this. And I keep looking at Ecamm, and then I look over again, and now the price is like $67 or $69. I said, oh, they finna do it. I gotta go. And so same thing with Final Cut Pro. I'm just like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I gotta get this thing before they flip, because the writing's on the wall. It's time for it to, again, just make it make sense for as much as they were doing. And it was just miles better. So not only was I recording content, but I was live streaming content and stuff like that. Because you could, like, again, even the Ecamm of today is nothing like the Ecamm that it was back then, but it was still miles better, way better quality. It looked way better. The owners were very involved in the process. It's when around 2018, I got introduced to Katie. And I'm like, okay, this has to happen. And so it just wind up starting to ask a question, or you send a support ticket or whatever, like usual. But they were very attentive to anybody's needs. I wasn't a quote unquote a somebody or anybody specific back then. I was just a brand new account that just popped up one day, somebody trying to do this content stuff. And they treated everybody like you were the Bee's Knees Hall of Fame, like if Oprah walked in the door, kind of a thing. And so I just respected the fact that they treated everybody well, with respect. They honored and actually acknowledged the requests and stuff. And I'm like, I can rock with Ecamm, because they are dealing with us with any of these issues or testing and trying. So I got into beta testing a lot of the stuff. So shoot, it just like that relationship continued to develop over and over and over, just year after year. And so Ecamm has been my thing, but it's one of the reasons why I switched to Mac completely, because between getting Ecamm and Final Cut Pro, I'm like, I need to get these tools because these tools are going to be a big deal in the vision of what I'm trying to do. And so I just flipped to Ecamm. And so thankfully caught that $69 deal and got grandfathered in.
Oh, incredible.
Got it for live. And I think it's really important to have, I mean, especially, I mean, I do video production and things like that, and I'm a Mac user, of course. And what I find is that anything that can cut down the time to delivery, the ease of use, things that don't break, things that you have to constantly keep updating, like you would do with a PC and things. And this is not like PC versus Mac discussion, but it's just about in the time that we are today, where we have to deliver content on a regular basis. We've all got lives to do. We've all got the things to be getting on with. If we can cut down the time to get that stuff delivered and push it out there, then why not? And I think for me anyway, Ecamm is the tool of choice to be able to make that transition from either recording and doing live streaming and make it easier without dealing with lots of plugins and workflows that break.
Man, I'm gonna say it. It's y'all show, but I'm gonna say it. PC sucked. PC sucked. You don't have to say it. You can just say, well, Diana said. So, but PC sucked. I mean, they can be great computers. Let's not get it twisted. They can be great computers, and a lot of them are, or what have you. But when it comes, like, my brain completely works on systems inefficiencies, and there was nothing better. We're not talking about crashes. We're not talking about issues. Your audio sounds right. The way that you expect to see your footage straight out of the camera from the SD card is the way we were getting quality just through a USB-C port. And so, and again, they were very much involved in the process to make sure that it stayed that way. And so nobody was doing that. Nobody. It just was miles better. So when it comes to systems and efficiencies and tools and stuff, like, it is an absolute no-brainer. And people hear that and they're like, well, you're just saying that because you're an affiliate, or you're just saying that because you've been an ambassador. And it's like, no. It's like companies now have to switch from being very black and white, corporatese, very unfeeling and uncaring. From day one, Ecamm is what the creator economy has taught companies to be. They have been that from day one. And thankfully, I've been a part of that process for a long time, to see them watching the maturation of the company even. And they haven't changed, in the sense of that heartfelt center thing. That's why, like I said, I ride or die for Ecamm when it comes to that stuff. And it's like, systems and efficiencies wise, though, if we're comparing nothing else, they cannot be beat.
Here.
Exactly. Agreed here.
We have a little bell to ring now. We need a bell or a chime.
Yeah,
or something.
we need some jingle bells, Mark.
Well,
putting Mark on the spot. Poor Mark.
Funny you should say that.
There you go. Well, it is a Christmas show, isn't it? So,
it's a Christmas
Exactly.
Well, I think for me, and this is the reason, a large part of why we decided to set this up, was that to sort of hear the stories behind the people. And I think when we were at Creator Camp, we were sort of thinking, we might have seen people in the chat, but we sort of know what they do, but we don't know exactly, and we don't know exactly why. And I think you've managed to sort of demonstrate today, why you were like you were at Creator Camp, because you've already today told me more than I knew from the conversations that we had during Creator Camp. And I think the more we realize that, the more we can then we sort of find our tribe within our tribe. We're all part of the Ecamm fam, but within that there are people that you connect to because of those personal stories. And we kind of did it almost by accident, just by being in your group, in the warmth that you did, and kind of gave us that ability to do it. But so I mean, thank you so much for sharing this, but also setting that tone. And I think this conversation today has really sort of set that up and given me a real understanding of why that was the case.
It's clearly our group was robbed of the championship to start with. We had the best logo, the best leader, we had the best everything, but there was some finagling going on there, I think. So
I think it was some.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
I think it was some money passed under the table.
I think so.
Some Ecamm, but somebody had a printer someplace with manufacturing the Ecamm bucks, because I just knew we had it in the bag. And I'm standing next to Loria, which me and Loria, we cool. But at that point it's competition. And so I'm looking,
Exactly.
and so I'm counting. I had to go out the room. I'm thinking, yeah, I'm counting the big bucks. We finna clean house. And then they yell out their number, and I'm like,
what happened? I think
Let
some
me count
Bitcoin
this.
changed hands.
let
Personally,
me count this.
Definitely.
I'm like, listen, somebody got some super chats on the channel or something. I don't know. But yeah, but the kudos to them for, winning, but it ain't gonna happen again,
Well, we're older
No.
and wiser, and also we've got that extra 2% for next year that I think we just
There
need
you
to
go.
make sure that
Exactly.
we're doing
There
it.
you go.
We've been given it today. We know what we're after.
There you go.
And I bought a color printer, so there'll be oodles amount of Ecamm dollar floating around next time. Don't worry, I'll bring some with me. Definitely.
Amazing.
I had a quick question. I know we're getting on for just over the 30 minutes, but I had a quick question about YouTube and what YouTube is, what's happening with YouTube with AI and various things. I watched a couple of your videos recently about sort of the changing landscape of YouTube. If to any new aspiring video content creator out there, would you say that in 2024 you should be all in on YouTube, because that's the place to be with all the evolving technology with AI and everything that's going on with YouTube, and they've reduced the monetization criteria and things like that. So only have to have 500 subscribers and still a number of watch hours. What's your take on that? Is there another platform to rival YouTube to deliver content on in 2024, or should people just go all in?
The thing that's unique about YouTube is the fact that everyone's audience is there in some capacity. You just really have to find out how your ideal target audience prefers to receive information. And they always have a primary and a secondary platform. So YouTube is going to fit in one of those slots, but it's going to fit in that first slot more than others as their primary way of consuming content when they want to know how to do something, when they need to actually see something beyond a screenshot, and when they want to connect and find their people. And at any stage, in any business, and in any organization, they're going to want to do that. The one thing I would suggest is, if you're going to do it, it's not just a lot of people, they get like this 30-day, blitz, or 30, 60, and even 90 days blitz, and then you never see them again. And it's always like, yeah, I'm working on something, I'm gonna do something, and they never do anything. And so if you're going to go, it's like, yes, if you're going to do it, yes, by all means, give it the proper amount and required energy. However, don't be just posting and hoping. It's like, actually take some strategy into there, and you have to think about your customer's journey and the story of where they are. Most entrepreneurs, business owners, they don't understand storytelling and a capacity of how their market is being met and how they're meeting them. And so it's like, you have your content, and the problem and the pain point that person is searching for is like, your content should be at the intersection of that and how you serve them and what they're having a pain for. So it could be meeting somebody early on in their journey, and you're giving them questions and answers and clarifications around X. Or you could be meeting them at a specific point where they're making a buying decision about something, or they're getting all into how to use a specific software, tool, or program, be it yours or somebody else's or whatever. So that it's like, that's the story of where they are. And it's like for anybody that doesn't know the story, just this basic storytelling framework. So a character who wants something, they go on a journey to get it. They encounter a problem. They meet a guide who gives them a plan that calls them to action, that either leads to success or failure. Somewhere on that journey, most people, they hop on YouTube trying to be the hero. You're not the hero in the story. You're the guide. No matter who you are, what you're doing, you are the guide. So if you are Yoda, help the Luke Skywalkers actually be Luke Skywalkers. And it's like, that's how people start to have success. And no matter what you're doing, whether you have a personalized brand and you're vlogging and you're doing it for fun and you're sharing your story or whatever, people are coming because it's a connection point. If you're taking like a hybrid approach, you're doing a little bit of half and half, that's one thing. Or if you all are, 100% business, that's fine too. And so there's no wrong way to do it at that point, or the how you're doing it content wise. It is just about understanding the role that you're playing and what position to be playing on the platform.
Great. I love the fact that you're taking people on a journey, and you're just basically, as you said, you're the guide, you're not the hero, and I think that's a great approach for people to look at. And I'd obviously take that advice on myself and take a look at that. It's exactly what we're trying to be here, though, guys. We're trying to be a guide for people to come in to this show and tell us all about what everybody does and bring this great community together.
Love it.
Exactly. And I think we couldn't have a better person to start with. You were our guide and our kind of our shining light from camp. And yeah, as you said before, sort of hearing that is amazing. And Lisa, do you have any sort of final words before we sort of wrap up this little section?
I am so thrilled that you managed to be here with us. I do have one quick question. If you would tell people how to protect their health and their self-care in doing this, because it's a lot of moving parts, it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
What's like one quick thing you would give people to just, stay healthy in this process?
I would say understand that in the process of getting healthy, there is a healthy amount of discomfort, stretching and breaking that's going to be required. And it is still healthy and necessary. It's no different than when you first start lifting weights or you're going to the gym. You got to go through that discomfort. You may stretch the muscles, ripping them or what have you, not to the point of breaking, but you're pushing them beyond the point that maybe they haven't ever been pushed to before, and it feels wrong. It feels bad. I would say be wary of using words like burnt out, just simply because you're finding out what requirement it is to do what it is that you're trying to do or become the version of yourself that you're trying to become. So in the process of becoming healthy, obviously have guide marks and goalposts that you need to be hitting or getting to, and knowing where the guardrails should be at, so that if you do fall off into an area of discomfort, like if you absolutely never sleep, if your relationships are breaking or whatever, it's like, it doesn't mean that what you're doing is wrong. It's like, what's the guardrail in place for that? Or did you just lob a bomb at somebody and say, here, family, catch it, never see me again for 90 days? No. Like Doc talks about, he talked about this early on, get buy-in. I didn't have to get buy-in from nobody. Not married, don't have no kids, praise the Lord. I played with my niece and nephew, send them back home. So, but if you do, it's like, get the buy-in. And again, like I said, have those markers so that it's like, this is uncomfortable, this hurts, or I am tired, or it's like, it's maybe exhausting to a point of the mental exhaustion sometimes. And that's okay. You have to figure out what's required for what it is that you're trying to do, and just know that there is a healthy amount of discomfort that you need to learn to embrace in the process.
I love that. Thank you.
Wonderful. Yeah. Thanks for that advice. I think we have a few comments, not questions, but we do have a few comments, particularly around what Diana's been talking about today. So
we certainly do. So I'll sort of come through a few of those, and I think it's great when people are sort of hearing what you're saying, and at the same time sort of really sort of bringing those sorts of things to light, and you can sort of really sort of connect that. And thank you to everyone who's joined and has sort of been involved in the conversation as they're coming through, and it's great to see so many people who are just that's really wanting to be involved. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sort of showing what's going on as well, and sort of speaking about our tribe. Mike, great to see you. He's an integral part of our nearly winning team, but certainly from a learning point of view, that was definitely really important. So, well, we said half an hour. We kind of nearly kept to that. So that's our first note for our next show. Is but it's such amazing insights and such amazing content, and we really do appreciate your time and your effort and your support with this. And you jumped on straight away when we first asked you, so we can't thank you any more than that. And keep up the great work and the guiding lights, and we'll share where people can find out more about you very, very shortly.
My pleasure. Thanks so much for having me on your first show, and it's an honor to be here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
so much.
My pleasure.
To have you. Thank you.
So there we are. Everything you need is at Diana Gladney. You can see there, and the book there as well. And Lisa's got those insights from really sort of taking through all that, and really appreciate those sort of heartfelt stories. I think it's incredible. So yeah, I think we should make sure maybe open this up, should we, to some of the people that have been involved in and coming in, and
Yes.
thank you, Martin. I know you've been on Neil's show. If anyone's got anything they want to share in terms of where you're from, in terms of what show you're working on, anything like that, do let us know. We, as well as having these amazing conversations, it's for you. So anything you want to be involved in and whatever, then yeah, please do make sure that we can help you out.
Definitely, yeah. We want people to get involved, become guests on our show, talk to us, tell us all about yourselves and what you're doing. And as Mark mentioned, you know, it's been fascinating today to listen to Diana and to get her story and how she came to, you know, work with video and being on YouTube and being this great leader now and this entrepreneur. And it's fascinating to me to get to know these people that we see in passing. We just watch them on YouTube, but we don't really know, you know, them in detail. So the more people we can have on this show and to get the collective and to get more people talking to us and sharing their stories is going to be great. It's going to be great.
It is, and I think what I loved about the idea of it was the fact that it can be in any shape or form. Like, one of the things we spoke about when we were sort of doing Creator Camp was the sense that, you know, we might have seen someone in the chat, and we know that people show up in the chat for doc shows and strict shows and all that, and you just want to be involved in what's going on. Hence the reason we're here, sort of doing this. But also what we really want to be able to do is we want to be able to just sort of, like I say, know that this person, and we sort of see their handle, but also, you know, what's your show about? What are you trying to do? You know, what's your little story behind it? And it might be that being a guest and being able to share that, because we don't have any criteria for guests other than you're part of the Ecamm Fam, whether you're just starting out, whether you're sort of a seasoned professional like Lisa and just sort of sitting back and enjoying the fruits of her labor. Or whatever that happens to be, you know, it's sort of part of all of those things. So yeah, do let us know, because it's like I say, we're gonna gear this around you as well as us just having a nice time.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's truly a place to celebrate the community, because there's so many amazing people that I got to meet and we all talked about. So we want to know you. Chime in, write in.
Exactly. And we've got some call to actions later to let you know how you can get involved and sign up and become a guest on the show. But I think next, coming up right now, is this wonderful segment that Mark's going to talk about. That rhymes with
shelf on an
merch.
elf, which isn't an elf on a shelf.
Oh, shelf on an elf. Yeah.
So, well, we just thought that one of the ways, as I've just explained, that you can get involved is it can be serious. It can be an important part of your journey in terms of Ecamm and all the things you're doing, whether it's recording or streaming. But it might also be that you just want to send us a picture. You might just want to sort of show us where you are. So we want to encourage you to send us in a picture of anything related to the Ecamm merch. And there are a couple of ways you can do this. So I'm going to show you the first one, which is beautifully taken by Neil. This is his merch on the perch. Great focus, beautiful scenery. I think he was out all day taking a few of these. And I love that. I think it's absolutely fantastic. This was my idea. which to be fair, seemed like a good idea at the time. I was teaching, and this gorilla monkey something kind of came in, and I thought, well, that's part of the story as well. You know, that's where my cup was at the time. I'd finished my cup of tea, and I thought we'd share that as well. So yeah, anything you like, anything that's merch related from Ecamm, show us where it is, whether you're on holiday, whether you're working, whether it happens to be a funny time to do that, and I think it'll be a fab thing.
Merch on a perch or gorilla on a pillow, anything like that we can play with. It's fine. Anything goes, as long as it's Ecamm related, of course.
Yeah. Or also you can have, like, put your Ecamm have on if you're traveling and shoot a picture of yourself, and
if you've got,
let's see where you're at, what you're shooting, what you're doing.
Yeah.
Especially around this time of year, right? There's holiday things going on, so why not get out there and take some photos and send them in, and we will share them, because we need the material, so we will share them. Don't you worry about that.
And if you want to remove your angel or your star from the top of your Christmas tree for
and put the hat on there.
Yeah,
I like that.
exactly. If that works,
I like that.
As long as there are no
But
negative
you don't put the
flames,
gorilla
you're
on
not
there
gonna-
because it might not work. So anyway, yes. But I'd like to see that. The
Well,
gorilla
my
on the
goodness.
tree. Oh dear me.
I like a challenge. I like a challenge.
Right.
Speaking
So we've
of
got a couple more people.
challenges, what's happening? Oh,
I was just going to show a couple of the things that we go through as well, just while we were doing that. And Martin, bless him, was in that position. Went all the way to America to be part of the camp, and then sadly got poorly. So fingers crossed, Martin, you'll be able to be part of that next time. Sorry, Lisa, I cut you off midstream.
oh no, that's nothing new. That's our meeting.
Well, I mean,
I don't have
it's
any
all
sound
about me.
effects.
In my shows, it's just about me answering and telling everyone what's going on. We're learning
Yeah,
in
you
this
meant-
three-way street.
I know. You mentioned challenges, and I thought, well, that's like a perfect segue into our little quiz section.
Exactly.
Fun.
No, as I think the important thing to say here is that not only we should reference Doc in terms of content is king, and it's not just about the gimmicks, but we've had quite a lot of time and quite a lot of fun with the gimmicks as well. So
gimmicks away.
Gimmicks away. So we have. We're doing 3 questions, aren't we? First of all, to begin with, and then
Yes, we're doing 3 questions today.
and if you like it a lot and you give us all the thumbs up in the world and I don't know something really
Likes.
positive in the chat, likes, yes, exactly, then
Likes and
we'll
hearts and
do
all that kind of stuff. We want to see
then,
those hearts going.
Then we do have a bonus one as well. So this is how it's going to work. We are going to show you a question, and then we will have a countdown timer, and we will then would like you to put your answers in the chat. The winner is the first person with the correct answer, and we will show that person. And if you don't get it right, we'll show that as well. But the winner is the first person, and we're going to basically have a leaderboard of this because we're going to have an Ecamm related quiz every week once we get going properly in January. But for our sort of Christmas festive first show, we thought we'd do it Christmas related. So are you both ready to get properly festive?
Before we quickly do, sorry, just a bit of
let's-
housekeeping for the people watching the show. So we don't want you to put the answer in. It's just A, B, C, or D. You just have to put the letter to the right answer in there. And Mike has just asked a question: where do we send photos and video clips? Mike, that's coming up. We'll show you at the end, so you have to stay around until the end, and then we'll show you exactly
couple of
where
hours
to
or so,
send
Mike.
your
We'll be
stuff.
with you soon.
Yeah, we should be finished. Yeah, should be finished around closing time. But for now, oh yes, and of course,
Oh, our
it is
hats.
that.
I forgot.
Oh yeah. Ah, dear me.
We're going to be festive.
Oh, this isn't. Oh, this is. Oh, it's a bit
My
tight.
hat is a
My
bit
head
tight.
is-
There. Okay.
There
So
you go.
do we need a mirror or something to make sure it's all kind of in the right way around? Are we happy with that?
You look all right. You're looking good.
Good. So my question
As
is
good as can be expected.
yes. How long before this is on Instagram? Anyway, here we
Oh
go.
my goodness.
Are we ready? Are we steady?
We're ready.
We are ready and steady. First question coming up.
Do it.
How many of Rudolph's fellow reindeer's names start with the first letter of Ecamm's community manager?
10 seconds.
So we were talking about Doc Rock himself, and of course the answer was D. So therefore, 3 and the answer D. But we do need you to be able to put the answers to these, or the equivalent A, B, C, or D in the chat in order to be able to bring you up onto screen. So should we have another go at this? Is everyone ready? Can you put a yes in the chat if you are ready for this? Does it all make sense?
Yeah,
We have a
everybody.
few people who
Everybody's now
answered-
put the chats in there,
Yeah.
and
There's a few people
yeah.
who answered C on YouTube.
Yeah. So C. Sadly, Mike.
Oh.
It isn't.
And now he's saying D because you know the answer, Mike.
Yeah, I know, because we've already told you. That doesn't really work, does it?
That doesn't
So-
count. There's no.
I mean, at this point, we can give you a winner's one, but you kind of, I don't think you can have a sad face and a winner at the same time. But now you get the idea. We apologise if it wasn't that clear to begin with. But if everyone's happy and you understand what's going on, we will move on to question number 2. Lisa, are you ready?
Yes, I am ready. Let's do it. What year was Home Alone released? The answer is 1990. That was the same year that Die Hard 2 and Gremlins 2 was released. If you remember those fun things.
Diana, so very, very close. But sadly, not quite right. Mike's been at it again. Mike, fantastic. Sadly, not quite right either. We are still on. Let us see. I'm really, really sorry, Mike. You're working really hard at this. However, not quite as there's meant to be. Do we actually have a winner? I'm not quite sure.
Yes, Martin.
I don't.
No.
Oh wait, no, I'm
Martin,
sorry.
Martin,
C.
Martin.
No. C. My fault. I can't.
No. There's no winners today.
Is there no winner? Oh well, can we make a note that the questions are actually getting too hard? And I have to say, when we were working this out, when we were working this out, we didn't know either, did we? I think we all got it wrong.
No.
And we were also hoping that Katie might be around because, of course, with her sort of VHS club, it would really she'd be in the zone of this kind of era. So we would need the experts in the chat as well.
So Roy put Tech Troublemaker put C, but is a bit late to the game. You got to pay attention. You got 10 seconds. We might need to change the timer. We might need to make it a bit longer. But we'll see.
Well, this is it. We're learning on the job, which is the most important thing. Thank you very much, Roy. So, are we ready for question 3?
Question 3, yes.
Here we go. Ready, steady.
All right, according to 1946's Christmas classic, It's a Wonderful Life, what happens every time a bell rings? And the answer is, an angel gets its wings. And we have tons of answers coming in. Oh, that's right. We don't have any. There you go. So there are no right answers or wrong answers because there are no answers. Oh, A, they come in now. B, thanks, Roy.
Well,
I'm sure I'm convinced he's just looking. There you go. Thank you, Johanna.
Yay!
B.
Yay!
Yeah, yes.
Thank you.
All
Thank you.
All right.
Well done.
Good stuff.
Here we are. We've got brilliant stuff. We've got loads of people getting it all right. This is amazing. It may be that, of course, there's a lag, isn't there, between the chat coming in and the live.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I keep forgetting about that because it's about 25 seconds. So yeah, okay.
I have the rework for this in our next meeting.
Oh,
okay,
excellent.
Exactly.
I'll make copious notes.
Yeah.
Back to the drawing board on this one. We'll just make it a bit longer, I think.
Well,
and
we can make it a bit
the deal.
longer. Yes, we don't need to work this out now, but I think maybe going for a cup of tea and just kind of.
Yes.
We'll figure it out. We need more babies.
Exactly.
Anyway.
What we need is more experts. Exactly. You'd think that we would have known that. Well, we kind of did know that, but this is, like I say, trial and error.
Thank you, Roy.
There
you go. 10 to 17 second delay. And we are crossing boundaries here. As we said, we're in Europe, UK, US. Wow.
Yes.
Multiple time zone.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun. Are we going to do a bonus one? Are we going to do a bonus one after our next little...
Let's do it. Let's do that. Well, it's just one question. Let's do a bonus one. Why not?
Here we are. Everyone ready? And I'm gonna leave a few seconds before we do it. Just so we
let's do that.
I'll just go and have a quick drink. So, Ecamm Fam member Todd Killian hosts which Christmas show? And I think I've seen some of the people in the chat watch this, so you should know.
All right, let's see if the answers are coming in, and we'll give people some time. Let's see what happens.
Exactly. Well, Mike's been very excited. Love it. Mike.
Love it.
Love your enthusiasm.
Oh, there's some B's coming in. A. I think Roy's the winner.
It's a shame. But
No.
glad to say that finally we are.
Bravo, Roy. Bravo.
And I think it's always important to, like I say, set yourself out. Diana, thank you so much. It's all about taking part. It's not about the winning, as we know from Creator Camp. It's all about that. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
That cuts deep. That cuts real deep.
It does.
But yeah.
It's still there. We'll get over it. We'll get over it eventually.
That was fun, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
It
There
was.
So,
A few notes. Just made some comments. Yeah.
Exactly. That's fantastic. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I'd seen some of these names on the streams of Todd. So I'm really glad that people have been able to do that. So it's really, really cool. Really, really cool. Brilliant.
I think Mike is definitely king of the emoticons in YouTube. There's some great ones coming into the chat there that game over.
Yeah.
Game over.
Should we now? What are you laughing at?
Sorry, Lisa. Bring it back on track.
Okay, back on track. We're back. Okay, let's do our feature, our little segment that we decided to put in there to feature our Ecamm Fam and where you can find them.
Oh yes.
Oh,
yes.
Is that queued up somewhere? Is that scene ready?
Oh no! Come on.
Please, it's ready to go whenever we're ready.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so what we'd like to do every show is we'd like to feature 3 of our Ecamm family from, not necessarily from Creator Camp, just from the family itself, but these fine people here were all on they should have been the winning team, of course, but we won't talk about that. So yeah, in no particular order, we have Vincent, who provides practical strategies and techniques to distress your life and to look after yourself better. So Vincent goes live every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And then we have Kathy, and she's the author of multiple vegan cookbooks and hosts a weekly live cooking show on the YouTubes. I'm not sure when she goes live, but it is definitely a weekly show. She's been doing some live ones recently, obviously all about Christmas cooking. And then we have Marcus. He hosts a weekly live show providing tips and tricks for delivering better content, and has regular guests from the community that share experiences and advice on all things video. And he typically goes live 4 p.m. Eastern every Wednesday. So if you would like to get involved, we will feature you here as part of our Creator Showcase to just share the love, spread the word, and tell everybody about what you do as a little snippet. And obviously, it's Creator Amplifiers for the people, the team, the dream team.
Exactly. And on that note, we know that is exactly how it is.
There we go.
Our
That was the
chant.
chant.
It's
to end all chant.
That was our chant.
Exactly. So, brilliant stuff.
We have some more comments coming in here.
So, what do we have coming through? So,
are the hats available on the merch store? Sure.
Yeah,
I can whip some of those up.
Yeah.
2 Bitcoins each, Martin, for these. They're definitely worth it.
Well, I think as Neil's found out, a lot of the problem is kind of the postage, isn't it? So you can have the hat for literally like a couple of pence. It's just the $200.
Getting it through customs is another thing altogether.
Exactly.
Hey, Gretchen, thank you for joining us.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you very much. It's like we're all together in every single way.
Yeah, we're all together.
Oh, thank you, Gretchen.
I'm so confused.
Amazing.
Oh dear.
So,
all right.
Shall we tell some people how they can get involved? And Mike did ask ages didn't he, about how we can do
Let's
that.
wrap all this up.
So let's do that. So as we mentioned, these are the things that you can be part of in terms of being a guest on the show. If you've got a picture for your merch on the place that they could get it. Everything's on Linktree, isn't it, Neil? You set that up for us.
Yeah,
that's right. So they can go to Linktree and have a look at that. But the main thing is if they just use a QR code, nominate a guest, send in your pictures on the Creative Amplifiers, you can post there, or we actually have an email address as well that you can send stuff to. So we'll put that in the description, in the YouTube description, and also in our Instagram and on Linktree, and then we'll post that out so you can
Brilliant.
Send us all your wonderful information and stories and stuff like that.
Mike, thank you.
Thank
so
you,
much
Mike.
indeed. Appreciate that. I'm glad you've had a
Thank
nice
you.
time. We can only make it better. That's all we can say. We can only make it better. And I think definitely just to finish off, we need to be as festive as we possibly can in terms of
Absolutely.
what we're doing. So thank you very much indeed to everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to be back on the 22nd of January as our first sort of show in the new year, and we were going to be having Callie. So we're very impressed that she agreed to come on, and of course she was the person that managed to sort of, you know, put all the artwork together, had the creative idea. I know we did it as a group, but she was the one that really had the talent to kind of make it work. So yeah, it's going to be amazing, and we should sort of give a big shout out to the live streaming pros for some of the graphics that we've been using today as well as her amazing artwork for the creative amplifiers as well. So anything we need to do before our final hurrah?
Just to say thank you to everybody that has joined.
Thanking you guys, though, before I thank the rest
thank you
of
very
everyone
much.
else.
It's been fun to do this on our first show, and you know, it's gone flawlessly, of course. So why not?
Absolutely.
So funny.
I do appreciate everybody who's joined us and had the comments. It's been fun to have everybody, and a big thank you to Diana, obviously, for being our first guest, and we really appreciate. And it's just been so much fun and really insightful. And you can be right here as well. So if you want to get involved, you know what to do. And get some comments on the YouTube channel, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. We want to be at 10K subscribers by the end of the year. So we've got a lot of work to do, but we can do it.
Exactly. And I think finally we should do a big thank you and shout out to Katie and the team who have been so supportive in terms of doing this.
Yes, thank you.
You know, it really was important for us to do something which was going to be supportive for you, as well as just, as we said in the trailer, just having a great time, which is what we were doing during camp as well. And we are here because we loved it, not just because Lisa said that we had to come and do it. That's right, isn't it, Neil?
It was you. That was me. That was you.
Yeah, exactly.
There were no threats or anything like that.
Exactly. No one was hurt in the making of this program. Good. So I think we should say farewell. Have a lovely
happy holidays.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we'll be back again in January.
Yeah.
Take it easy. Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays.